Hello everyone, I'm Hina Janejo, a learning enabler as well as a change catalyst, and today I have with me a very dear friend and a colleague, Mr. Graham Frost. Graham, what are we going to be discussing with the audience today? Yeah, I do remember, I can see the model there. So today the reason why we're both here together was just to share the concept of the revised performance management model with you and sort of how it links into employee engagement. Mr. Frost, it would be wonderful if you could tell our audience a little more about your professional side.
Thank you, Hina. Yeah, and hello to everybody who's watching. It's a great pleasure to be here. Really, in a nutshell, I help people to create happier workplaces. And why do I do that? How do I do that? Well, why I do that is because I've been involved in a happy workplace myself a few years ago. I know how to create it and maintain it. And I've also worked in some unhappy workplaces, and I know which one I preferred to work in. In case you're wondering, it was the happy one. I started off my career in frontline customer service roles, moved into learning and development 15 years ago. Since then I've delivered a variety of courses for a variety of different companies, and I'm currently self-employed and also part of the Engage for Success Guru group, which looks after employee engagement matters in the UK. Back to you, Hina.
Right, having said that, I guess it would be wonderful if we could just take them through very quickly through this model and our understanding of how it works. So basically, to begin with, this is the most popularly widely used performance management cycle globally. So at the top we have setting the standards there, which basically means the managers need to set the targets with the employees, and after that, having said that, communicate the targets or communicate the expectations very, very clearly to them so that they know what is expected of them. The managers are then supposed to equip them or resource the employees with all that it requires for them to perform effectively. Later on, we move on to having a proper monitoring process in its place, which works kind of like a check and balance on the employees, what's working with them, what's not.
Then we get to the part where we decide if the standard is being achieved or not. So we've done our monitoring. Is the standard being achieved? Is it not being achieved? If it is being achieved, then we can recognise and reward our employees and move them forward. If they're not managing to achieve the standard, then we provide feedback, coaching, mentoring, and in extreme circumstances we might have to have disciplinary hearings and that kind of thing, but we would try and avoid that at all costs. We would then move on to continue monitoring on a periodic basis, and then every period, whatever the period's decided, we would actually have a performance review or an appraisal with each employee, so we can talk about what's gone well, what hasn't gone so well, and what we need to be doing moving forward. And then we go all the way back to the top and we set the standard again. So we go around that cycle as many times as we possibly can in the course of a year, moving forward, moving the team forward, moving the company forward.
Graham, how about, I'm sure our audience, after having watched this video, this particular scenario or question would be lamenting on their mind. Let's say, for example, we do understand that, the managers, the line managers or the mid-management is the driver for this whole holistic performance management cycle.
Yeah.
But there has to be definitely some motivators or some drivers behind the management as well, which basically are the stakeholders.
Yeah.
So let's say, for example, hypothetically speaking, the CEO or the stakeholders do not support the managers, then what? How would it be easier for them, or what would the drivers be like for the managers to roll out this entire performance management cycle?
Well, I've seen this work in isolation almost. I've seen people manage teams like this in isolation when they haven't been supported by their managers. It's much easier when you are supported by the people at the top of the organisation, but you can decide that you're going to run your own team like this and do so very successfully, and then hopefully other teams within your business will see what's going on and say, hey, why are those guys doing so well? Let's go and have a look at what they're doing. So maybe you need to be a positive role model within your own organisation.
Exactly. Having said that, thank you very much. Coming to my point, this is the concept that I have in my mind as well, basically, that you need to be that change catalyst yourself, the change that you want to bring about in the organisation,
absolutely.
right? So, so you need to define what is right for you, what works for you, what is wrong, and what doesn't work for you. regardless of the fact that the CEO is supporting you or not, you need to be that change yourself.
Yes.
And then, obviously, if at the end of the day the outcomes are positive, the result is positive, you would definitely be able to create a buy-in from the stakeholders as well.
Yeah.
Right. So, and then definitely, if the CEOs or the stakeholders are not very, very participative or supportive of any particular initiative, doesn't mean that the business is going to shut down.
No.
Doesn't mean that the employees are not going to work. The management is not going to work. So the businesses need to run. Whether they like it or not, whether the support of the top management or not, but life does go on, and so do businesses as well. So basically the punchline is, the message is, this is the revised performance management cycle. We do understand there is the concept of reality versus rhetoric, but it'll be wonderful, it'll be best if we sort of just had this clear concept in our mind and we tried to roll it out within the organizations. So with that, thank you very much for being with us and watching the video. I hope that this model is going to be useful for you to implement in your business at some point in time. Thank you very much.
Thank you.